Lynda Corrado, so I bring you the White House Celebrity Series, You're Fired. To borrow DJT's own words, you are a very ineffective leader. Your decision-making was absolutely terrible. You're fired. I think this is so stupid. You're fired. You don't know what you're talking about. Terrible. How stupid can you be? You're fired. You are very naive, young, beautiful, healthy, and that's what we want. You're hired. Really? He goes on. You're disgusting inside and out. You're a slob. You look like a truck driver with a fat, ugly face. You're fired. You're a wise guy, you know. That is no question about it. You're a sleaze. You're fired. Now, you've been tough, you've been smart. You've been ruthless, about as ruthless as you can get. I congratulate you for everything you've done. From my lips to yours, you're hired. And so begins Season 4 of the End Games. It begins with the Democratic bungled impeachment process. Donald Trump does espouse some truths from time to time, and I believed him when he said that the Dems were on a witch hunt. As a result, they were in a hurry and did not lay a proper foundation, and we all knew it. I had been very open-minded about DJT to that point. I did not vote for him, nor did I vote for Hillary, but in trying to stay in my center, I did keep an open mind until after he was acquitted. I do believe it was toxic masculinity which created the scenario where DJT abused his power and thought it was okay to do so. It was not, in my opinion, a perfect phone call. Rather than accepting his responsibility and accountability, a characteristic of leadership, in just 1 week, in one State of the Union, one press conference, he failed to rise to the state of being presidential. It was at that moment I made up my mind. This series is about how great leaders are forged and fired during a crisis. DJT had his crisis, and he failed the test to rise to greatness, and he turned mean, nasty, and vindictive in the wake of winning at all costs. In wounded arrogance, he shrewdly orchestrated his State of the Union. He was very boastful in campaigning about how strong the economy was, how unemployment was down, and an hour or so more of that. If he sees that as strength, I beg to differ. Strength is a state of mind, not an outward behavior. He believes his presidency gives him the illusion of absolute power, which is why he says he can do anything he wants. Not so in the minds of the framers of the Constitution. I believe his fear-based beliefs begets the corrupted action of an imperfect phone call. He reveals to all of us how he masks this underlying fear with an equally vast amount of bravado as he straddles the line from being the consummate victim to a Marvel hero. He craftily orchestrates the audience into prolonged applause for him as he turns to applaud them for applauding him. Sorry, but this behavior is not coming from a balanced place of thought. This guy is a scrappy New York street fighter. He won the election, according to many who study group behavior, because people wanted change from the personal self-interest machine that dominates Congress. They wanted a patriarchal figure who promised to lead them out of the desert of chaos and to save us all. He portrayed himself as the savior and thus won the election. And so this brings us to the episode 3, the savior of us all, as we are introduced to Corona. So in my mind, his conversation goes something like this. Hey, you're cute. Are you here to help me get reelected? Did China send you? Believe me, I told everyone how wonderful China is. And I've been reading scripts, so I get it right at my briefings, and nobody can question me, even though they still do. Covert answers back. Gee, are you more concerned with bringing back the economy so you can boast about how great you are? Don't you know who I am? If you don't, why don't you come a little bit closer? We can talk more about it. It is clear that one person has been forged to greatness in this crisis. The Love Gov himself, with that scrappy New York street fighter DJT, cannot tolerate the fact that the Love Gov's rating is higher than popularity. He tells us the truth, he states the facts, and gives us hope. We know he loves his family with all of his heart, which says a lot about who this man is, and many of us trust and respect him. Obviously, DJT does not ascribe to the philosophy of letting sleeping bears lie. Another characteristic of Love Gov's leadership is not allowing politics to engage him during a crisis. Until, of course, DJT threw a sucker punch during one of his press briefings. I was on the edge of my seat because I could tell he was really not happy. And man, I know better than to wake a sleeping bear. I could see him getting angrier by the moment, but he was cool about it. He didn't raise his voice or anything. He just kept circling back to the issue, and then he let it rip. It was a left to the head and a right to the jaw, and both landed to great applause from those of us in the audience. Not surprisingly, DJT's plan to get him off center and out of the ratings backfired. So, the main premise born of that briefing was that if the buck is passed, then pass the bucks. Not an unreasonable request to save lives, to save us all. It's time for all of us sleeping bears to wake up. We must all vote for a president who is a leader, one that unites and works for this diverse union of people with various opinions, backgrounds, and beliefs, not divides us. Vote for a president who motivates people to do things they never thought they could ever do. One who has the ability to triumph over adversity. Someone forged in a crisis. Stay tuned for the final episodes coming to a screen near you. Take care now.